A fresh national strike has paralyzed Greece, with more rallies against sweeping new austerity measures now being held. The government plans to aim to reduce the debt in order to meet the conditions set by an international bailout. The unions triggered the 24-hour general strike in reaction to newly approved labour reforms and pay cuts to public servants. Helen Skopis, a journalist at Athens International Radio, believes people don't want to pay the price for corrupt politicians fed by the EU.
People are demanding that the burden of this financial crisis not be put on their shoulders. Greece is the only country up to now, at least in the Eurozone, that its financial crisis is not because of the collapse of the banking system, but because of the political system, the corrupt political system. The people that I have talked to feel as if the European Union is rewarding politicians, corrupt politicians and bankers, and they're punishing the people. They feel as if the European Union was not able to deal with this crisis on its own, and that's why they called in the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, to get involved. A lot of Greek people have the sentiment that it's best that they return back to the drachma. They feel as if they've lost their sovereignty as a nation. They feel as if the government is not making the decisions for the future of their lives, and they feel as if they need to be autonomous and start building a better future for themselves.
Meantime, Morten Messerschmidt, a member of the Europe of Freedom and Democracy group, says the Eurozone was doomed to fail because it's impossible to maintain the common currency between such non-harmonious members.
Well, it's quite evident now that the euro is a failed currency, and of course the Danes, having rejected this project 3 times in referendums, are satisfied with doing so. Regrettably, though, the federalist parties in my country are still insisting that the Danish taxpayers have to contribute to the bailout, so that we are, even though we are free of the euro, we are to pay for the deficits in the southern countries of Europe. So it's not only happiness that you'll see in my country. The euro as a construction has created this problem because it has destroyed the southern European countries' competitiveness, and the bailout now is just prolonging and thereby creating an even bigger problem, because the debt will just grow and grow, and we see now that the Eurozone is reacting very desperately, introducing the suggestion on Eurobonds. Of course, we need to be solidaric in the European Union, but we also need to be economically realistic, and the realism of the Eurozone is that it doesn't work. It hasn't been working for years, and there are at least several non-harmonious regions within the euro, which makes it impossible to maintain a common currency. So I think that even the strongest federalists will have to either recognize that we need to have 100% governance from Brussels, and since the Europeans don't want, have to go with the second line, which is to admit that the euro is a failed currency. Basically, we need to be frank. We need to say that if Europe should have a common currency, we need to have everything governed by Brussels. The Europeans don't want that, and therefore a common currency is not realistic. We need to get even the economical policies back into the real world and not having it flying around in some surreal world.